American Fiction is currently in theaters and it is getting so much love. They are hyping this film up and I am here for it. It's getting so many awards and accolades, and it is likely to get a Best Picture Oscar nomination and other nominations, which I love. This film was directed and co-written by Cord Jefferson, who's already got an Emmy. So he may very well be in for a screenwriting Oscar nomination and a Best Picture Oscar nomination. This was also produced by Rian Johnson, who did Glass Onion, you already know. This film stars Jeffrey Wright, Tracee Ellis Ross, Issa Rae, Sterling K. Brown, Erica Alexander, and more. It's stacked. And I think the performances here are so outstanding. This film has some huge comedic moments. I mean, it was laugh out loud funny, and it's definitely a think piece. Because the big picture begs the question, when is it a good time to sell out? Now, that's likely a question singularly for Black people or people of color who are trying to get into these spaces where you're creating content for not just for your community, but for the masses. When is it good to sell out? Feed the market or feed your family? And there's a really big showdown, verbal showdown between Issa Rae's character and Jeffrey Wright's character, who asks this question, and they leave it open-ended so that we're left. It's our responsibility to answer it. Is it okay to sell out because the market is wanting the content, or is it okay to sell out because you got to feed your family? And Jeffrey Wright, he comes from a family of doctors. He is a professor of literature. He alienates his students, so he's not doing very well because he is so direct, and he is encouraged to take a sabbatical. Well, he was already heading home to Boston to check in on his family, who he hadn't seen in years. His sister, played by Tracee Ellis Ross, she's really holding the family down for now. Their dad died, and their mom has early onset dementia. His brother is played by Sterling K. Brown. He's just discovered that he is gay. And so he is enjoying his newfound freedom in his own skin. And so he plays a plastic surgeon. He was one of the black sheeps of the family, and so he could care less what's going on with the family. He's just having a good time trotting around Arizona. So Jeffrey Wright is left to hold everything down. He was his parents' favorite anyway. And so he's got to come up with some funds real fast to put his mother in a nursing home. That's $6,500 a month. He writes this book out of anger one night because he realizes that there's this popular writer played by Issa Rae who has, to him, a trash book. I mean, there's so many stereotypes about Black people in this book. He hates it, but she's a bestseller. This is what people want. And so he writes it as a joke one day, and his gets published and becomes a bestseller, selling more than his two previous books combined. And now he's got enough money to take care of his family. It is such a good movie, but it leaves so much to the imagination. I think this is an open letter to people in the spaces, white people in particular, in the spaces that get to make the financial decisions for Black movies, for Black content, for creators that are trying to tell stories or tell our experiences. And they have this idea of what they think the audience wants and what they think we experienced. But I think it doesn't go far enough. It leaves so much to the imagination. From my perspective, it does. But they were eating it up. I saw this in Buckhead, and when I tell you they were eating this up, the audience were in on the joke. They understood what was being said here, but what does this change? That's the ultimate question. I think this is a good film. I think Cord Jefferson did good. Now, It shows that he is a TV writer, and because there's some time jumps. Now, there are time jumps, but there are no title cards, which I love. I hate when they're saying, okay, this is what's happening. We don't really need that, but it does time jump. What's creative about what's written here is that the time jump is explained in such an organic way in the dialogue that it works, but it just loops. I mean, I'm talking leaps. It leaps drastically in the time. So there was that, but it just shows that this is a TV writer, and maybe the better medium was a series or like a mini series, perhaps, maybe. That doesn't take away from the brilliance of this film. I admonish you to see this film in the theaters this weekend. You will have a good time. Take your friends, your hive, your sisters, take everybody you know, and then congregate after the film to get all into it, because it really is a conversation piece. At any rate, American Fiction is currently in theaters now, and happy holidays to you and your family.